Welcome to Pastor B's vlog. This vlog we're going to look at woodworking. Woodworking is one of my hobbies. I have a project that we're going to work through, and we're going to pull out all of these little nuggets for you. One of the things that we want to start off on today's session with is talk about how woodworking is a process. It's time-consuming, labor-intensive, and it takes a long period of time. When God works into our life, it's a process. You know, we live in a time in our culture where everything's immediate. We want things now. We want to know what God's will is now. We want to know what God's plan is now. We want God to answer us now. And as I've lived my life, I've realized that God's activity, God's plan, God's will, it's a process. I'm a United Methodist pastor, so we have these wonderful terms of God's processing, God's working in our lives, the process. It's sanctifying grace, and it's also called prevenient grace. This grace that goes before us, God intentionally working into our lives, getting us to respond to His love, to His call in our lives, and that comes to us, and we respond to that, and that God's work before our salvation experience is God's prevenient grace. We are justified by God's grace. That's called justifying grace. And then God works into our lives, and this whole big, long process throughout our lives where we work with God. God is hands-on in our lives. And this process, this hands-on involvement of God in our lives is called sanctifying grace. Now, Christians throughout history have used different terms. There's divinization, there's theopoiesis, and all of these are meant to communicate to us that our walk with Jesus Christ is a process, and Jesus is hands-on involved in our lives. That's why we give all thanks and praise to God, our Father, Son,